what effects you seen that the migrant situation in Chicago and how it's affecting the black community?
Jeez.
We really want to ask.
It's bad, man. It's bad. It's bad. But this is a result of us not being involved in politics and us not having power. You so busy, steady waiting for somebody to do something for you, and then you get poor Brandon Johnson because he really kind of got thrown into this. But I'm gonna tell you something. DeSantis and Abbott, I ain't mad at them. They testing for gangsters all day. You say
Love
you
them.
about that action? Hey, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. Because I told my wife, I said, what they really trying to do is get cats to bow down, and they just won't do it. Chicago should have been said, no, this is a bit much. We misspoke. We take it back. And they not gonna do that. Too much ego, man. But I'm gonna tell you, it's bad. And it's I should turn this camera around so y'all can see how bad it snowed up here. Like it's about to be in negative next week. It was bad this morning.
Y'all wind chills ain't nothing to play with.
Well, you know that.
Y'all
That
wind,
Hawk ain't no
listen.
punk.
You listen. You'll die out there with the wind chills.
Hey, listen, quiet is kept, man. Like people talk about Chicago, but Detroit and Minnesota is the worst, man.
It
Detroit
is.
is right there. Detroit is right there by what's that, Windsor,
Yeah,
Ontario?
yeah.
Right by
Right
the Detroit
there.
River.
Right there. Right. Hey, fam, real quick story. I was sitting down there on the Detroit River one time, and so y'all know y'all got all those casinos there now.
Yep.
And so I was sitting down there, I was like, hey, y'all told me about the MGM and Greek Town. I said, why y'all ain't telling me about Caesar's Palace? It's like, what you talking about? I said, Caesar's right there across
Right
the
across the
river.
river. Right.
He said, no, that's Ontario. Like that's
That's
not
Windsor.
Detroit. Yeah, that's Windsor, Ontario, man. That ain't Detroit. Like, yeah, it's way worse up there in terms of it being cold and the
Yeah.
weather and the snow. And Detroit drive like they got a permanent autobahn. Y'all know what the autobahn is in Germany, right? No
Yeah.
speed
No.
limit, no
Yeah.
regulation. The
Yeah.
autobahn in Autobahn. Spelling bee champ. Spelling bee champ. Um, it's a segment of the highway in Germany. There's no speed regulation, so they drive as fast as they want. That's how Detroit drive, as fast as they want. It's the motor city for real.
Wow. I never been to Detroit. I want to go to Detroit. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Speaking of migrants, Hakeem, I got a video because I want to show how bad it is, how it's getting bad with the migrants, like in Chicago, New York, and everything. So
It's bad.
it's so bad that the politicians are begging people to put the migrants in your homes. Hakeem,
Show the
please play that
video.
video real quick.
Oh, they
Play
out of
that video
pocket.
real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, they out of pocket. Yeah, I saw the trending. I didn't look at. I didn't read about it. Go ahead.
All right.
Once again, shout out to everybody that's here in the building. Shout out to Kendall, Joe Doherty that's holding it down on the Twitch world, Sexy Red TV, Sherry Bryan, Barry Bryan. Shout out to you guys being here, Ashley, and also me. Go ahead.
Suite in your home, please consider hosting a family. Safe housing and shelter is our most pressing need. Become a sponsor family. You can contact the Brazilian Worker Center for more information on how you can step up if you're willing to have an additional family be part of your family. If you're a local official, a college president, a business owner, or a faith leader with an available building or space in your community, please work with us to offer it as a shelter site. If you're a social service provider, please consider becoming an emergency assistance homeless shelter provider. Our resources are stretched thin there as well. And if you're a hotel or a motel owner, consider opening it up for emergency assistance. If you're a landlord or a property owner, we can use you too and connect you with service providers to help transition families into permanent housing. Everyone has something they can offer.
Shit, I don't got nothing to offer. They ain't coming in my house. Forget that.
So you have a constituent or a constituency that pays taxes that you still owe them something. You haven't made good on what you owe the citizens of your city. And you're asking those citizens who already don't have. See, let me say it this way. For the liberal population here in Chicago, that exists mainly on the north side, man, send them jokers over there. But you know what? You don't hear a single solitary thing about them sending them on the north side. I think the north side is the same in most cities, right? It's affluent, mostly white. Send them over there. They don't send them over there. They tried to put him over there on 115th and Halston, which is in my near my hood, right? Folk wasn't going, but now to me, it's not the time. Like you really kind of at the mercy of these folk, man. I'm saying as a black people, the time to organize, the time to lift your voice, the time to show unison and solidarity, man, that was a couple years ago, to be honest. Now these folks showing you they continue to invade your space. They don't care about you, right? And they thought they toss your concerns by the wayside. That's why I'm big on us. Again, um, we gotta have group economics. Because here's the other thing, I guarantee you, these jokers will not go to Chinatown and try and put the migrants there.
Nope.
You understand what I'm saying, fam? J Money, they not taking them. They not taking them to Chinatown. They not taking them. What y'all got in Detroit, Mexico Town? They ain't even taking them there.
Nope.
They not even taking them there. And them their peoples.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They won't do that, but they'll put them in our hoods. Why?
Yeah.
Because you Negroes ain't utilizing it right anyway. And guess what? This is the population, because we so busy fighting amongst each other. This is the population that's going to replace us as the minority.
100%. Talk about it. They're going to change
That's
the
a fact.
landscape of whatever black community that's in. They're going to be the ones providing the store. They're
Yeah.
going to be the one providing the jobs. It happens all the time.
Yeah. And so instead of us coalescing around the things that we can agree on and banding together and working together, we still want to have these little henny penny arguments and discussions about nothingness. You know, meanwhile, our boys are still reading at a 3rd and 4th grade level.
Oh.
You in high school. That what's the name was the biggest sham. I did not know about that No Child Left Behind. I didn't know how bad it was until I got back home. My kids didn't have to deal with that because they go to school. Well, they went to school with like, you know, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. So they got, for the kids that's in the city, that's dealing with No Child Left Behind, where the parent can tell the teacher, no, I don't want my child to, like the teacher will recommend IEPs, or they'll recommend that, your child didn't successfully matriculate to the next grade. And the parents will say, no, I want my child to go ahead. And they have, you understand what I'm saying? When we failed and got left behind, not me, but I'm smart. When you got left back a grade, you legitimately got left back a grade. Did y'all know that they don't do that no more? They push them through regardless.
My friend told my
I heard about that.
about
Yeah.
that. He told me about that. Like
That No Child, brothers, please look into that. Please look into that, because the ones that's hurting the most is our boys. This is no gender war type stuff, but this is the honest truth. Man, I dare somebody challenge me on this. They give so much investment to our young girls and little to no investment for our young boys. That's the truth. And so that's why even on my channel I said, most of my content is going to be like me speaking to my son, right? Because our little boys, there's certain things that they need to hear, certain things they need to know. I'm grateful that I grew up with it. My stepdad, I read everything. I regret some of it, but because he had like Steven Spielberg, who used to write the horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever used to write the horror stories, like that's who I used to read. But I'm glad I read, because at 4th grade I was reading at an 8th grade level. By the time I got into high school, I was at a collegiate level, reading wise. You understand what I'm saying? And so with this migrant situation, there's a design in play, and it's not always out front, and it's not fully what I'm saying, right? But most of it that's in play is designed to replace us. And
Stephen King.
Stephen King, yes.
Yeah, he was the one that said it.
Man, it's a couple of books he wrote I should not have read at that age.
So let me ask you this. So would you have voted for the lesser of two evils?
So when I was younger, yes, I adopted that ideology. And this time, this last election cycle, I'm looking more at policies that affect me and my community, right? And then ultimately, I believe that Black people should be grooming their own candidates. We should be grooming our own candidates and putting them in positions to represent us. Another thing, all politics is local. So they'll distract you with the president's race, and you should be voting on the national level too. But if you don't know who your local school council, your mayor, your alderman, your councilman, if you don't know that your sheriffs get elected, your judges get elected, those are the people you need to be. That's who you need to know, because those are the people that's running things in your community. Your commissioner for the water department, all these things. These are people that you need to know and be well versed on, because that's who impacts your day-to-day life. They distract you with the pageantry of the presidential election. I'm pretty sure DeSantis is going crazy for y'all down there.
Oh
They'll
my
Yeah,
God, he's not playing.
he's
He's
yeah,
not.
not playing.
He's
but
not.
see, they'll distract y'all with all of that, and meanwhile, you'll have people voting in or not voting and participating in the process locally, and then you get all these goofballs in office, right? That run cities into the ground and stuff like that. There, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I
this
was gonna
migrant
ask you
situation
too.
is bad.
I want to ask you on Chicago. How do you think about the people that say they don't like the they don't like to vote, especially when you hear in our community when you hear a black man say I don't vote. The system is rigged. I don't need to vote.
Then you can't complain. You don't have a word, and I don't really want to. I don't have two words to talk to you. Is even if you think from a business owner's perspective, right? If you're an entrepreneur mindset, any of that, fam, all that voting matters. And even if you don't vote at a national level, I think people can make the case for that. But at least at a local level, that vote definitely counts at a local level. At a minimum, I don't listen. Yeah, you should know. You should know who's on your school boards, your local school council.